Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Arts Education Data Toolkit webinar. This webinar is closed captioned, so please feel free to use the closed captioning feature in Zoom. This webinar will be archived, and the link will be made available afterwards. Also, please feel free to participate in our brief poll for those joining live. We'd love to get a sense of who is in the Zoom room with us today. I'm Lakita Edwards, Arts Education Specialist at the National Endowment for the Arts. I'm joined by my wonderful colleagues, Klaus von Zastro, Principal at Education Commission of the States, and my fellow Arts Education Specialist, Denise Brandenburg. Denise manages the Collective Impact Grants portfolio at the NEA. Klaus will provide a closer look at the Arts Education Data Toolkit webinar, and Denise will provide some fantastic insights into our collective impact project type at the NEA, which provides some funding opportunities for organizations to establish their arts education data initiatives. There will be time in this webinar for Q&A, so we want to answer your questions. Please feel free to populate the Q&A chat box with your questions throughout the webinar. So, let's take some time to look at our poll results. We have a variety of attendees in this webinar. Some are arts educators, some are funders, data managers, policy researchers, state arts agency staff. We see you doing the work. And we also, of course, we're all students, so we have some students in the mix. And it's really great to see so many stakeholders in the room. In terms of meeting the moment, this all really underscores the importance of how our communities need data to really address the impacts of this pandemic on our students' participation in the arts. Additionally, it's important to recognize the importance of data in exposing the structural inequities that deny students of color and students from low-income households to have access to the transformative power of the arts in their schools. Without further ado, I'm now going to turn to my colleague, Klaus von Zastro, to really give us an overview of the Arts Education Data Toolkit webinar. Thanks, Klaus.
Thank you very much, Lakita. As Lakita mentioned, I'm Klaus von Zastro with Education Commission of the States, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here today to talk to you a bit about arts education data and some of the work that we were privileged to do together with the National Endowment for the Arts to create resources to help you get access to arts education data, or even make sure that those data are more readily available in your state or your community. So I'm going to talk a little bit first about why data are even important to begin with, right? Why do we need arts education? And the overarching vision for this is that we need data to make decisions, right? Data-driven decision-making has been a catchphrase in education for the better part of 20 years, yet too many arts education stakeholders are still really operating largely in the dark because they lack data about what's happening in arts education data in their communities or their schools. But there has been something like a data revolution over the past decades, and this is something that arts education can also benefit from. As we all know, big data has an influence, it's quite a big influence in fields from medicine to marketing, right? People are used to having information and data that can help them plan their retirements or even plan their travel or vacations or figure out where they should drive to avoid traffic. It's really become an expectation. In the meantime, state education data systems have also become a lot more robust in recent years. And that means that these more sophisticated systems really are beginning to collect the kinds of data that can help you in your arts education efforts. But the reality is that most states still don't publish these kinds of data. Now, the pandemic has actually raised the stakes for arts education data because, as we all know, the pandemic has created enormous disruption in education. And I would guess that that disruption is especially severe in arts education. For example, in the case of my own daughter, I can see that with distance learning, she has had less exposure to arts and music than she would have in a normal year. And it's quite obvious as well that students will lack access to things like studio space or materials, instruments, choral partners, any number of things. The list goes on and on. And it's also true that in the aftermath of this pandemic, the economic consequences may squeeze state budgets and arts education may be on the chopping block. And that's why it's going to be very important to have data to help us understand what happened to arts education enrollments, for example. Students fallen off their trajectories. How can we even know? Data are going to be very important to answer those questions. But the reality is that arts education data is more common than you think. I know I've just said that it's hard to get to sometimes, but in reality, I think one of the problems is that people don't realize where they can find it. The issue is that you just have to know where to look. A growing number of states has been bringing their arts education data online. And if you know where to look, you can actually get helpful information about what's happening in your state, your community, or in your schools regarding access to arts education or participation in arts education. And you can even get this broken out by of students, like by race and ethnicity or family income or any number of other important categories to ensure that there's actually equity and opportunity. So one of the tools that we created together with the National Endowment for the Arts was like a landscape analysis. We call it a 50-state comparison of arts education data collection and reporting. And what this tool can do, it's online, and I know that the National Endowment for the Arts is actually linked to all of these resources, is it'll tell you which states actually publicly report data on arts education in access to arts education. Do students even have that access? In participation, are they actually enrolling in those classes by discipline level? Or teachers, is there access to teachers in those states? And what we found is that there are about 16 or 17 states that report those kinds of data, but there are many, many more. In fact, most states that actually collect those kinds of data in their state education data systems. It's just that in those states, those data have not yet seen the light of day. So this would be a very important resource for you to use, and I encourage you to use it if you want to see what's happening in your own state. Bear in mind that it was released in 2019, and there has been some development since then. There are actually a few more states that have added arts education data to what they have. We've also, together with the Arts Endowment, created some case studies of states that have actually worked to make arts education data available. These are case studies of California, Texas, and New Jersey. And these case studies really focus on the rationale. Why did it happen? And what did the people in the states who thought this was important do to make the case for it? And also what they've done now that the data are available. How do they use this to support better access and participation in arts education? So what I thought I would do is just take a minute to look at just two examples of websites that can give you access to arts education data. This just shows you that there's probably more available than you know. So let's start with Massachusetts. So I see we have about 240 people on this call. I'm gathering that odds are at least some of you are in Massachusetts. Well, if you go to this website page right here, school and district profiles in Massachusetts, you can actually get a spreadsheet that will show you a lot of information about who enrolled in arts education down to the district and school level. So as you see here, you can look at the district level, you can look at the school level. You can also scroll down to the bottom of this page and see statewide results. They have data for several years, so you can begin to trace some trends. You can also look at the data by different student groups. You can look at all students, but you can also break it down by gender, by economic disadvantage, by race or ethnicity, or by things like English learner status or student disability status. You can also break it down by subject. You can look at the number or percentage of students who have taken at least one arts course Or you can look at students who have taken at least one music course, one media course, one theater course, one visual arts course, for example. And finally, you can get these numbers by percentages. So for example, you could see that, I'm making it up, let's say 70% of Asian students took dance, which is unlikely, but we'll say maybe visual art in 2019, 2020. But you can also get raw numbers. And that way you can have the numbers to make your own calculations if you need them. And this is also quite important, and that is that you can export the data as an Excel file so that you can make further calculations with them as you need to. So this is just one example of the kind of information you can get from one state, which is tables. Another example that's similar to this is the Florida Fine Arts Report. And we link to these reports in our materials 50 state comparison. So here's another example quite quickly. And this is Arizona, the Arizona Arts Education Data Project. In Arizona, they actually created data visualizations. So here, this visualization allows you to see access and enrollment in arts education in percentages by, for example, the percentage of students in any school who are eligible for free or reduced lunch, or by grade level, for example. And there are other things you can do as well. You can look down to the district level here and get specific district level information on participation in music, visual arts, theater, and dance, for example, down to that level, or even down to the school level. And in fact, if you drill down to the school level in this kind of information about individual arts courses that the schools offer. This was an effort that the Arizona Department of Education undertook together with Quadrant Research as part of an arts education data project. And you'll find that a number of states have these kinds of visualizations available. And again, we do link to them in our resources. So it may also happen that you don't have access to data in your own state. If that happens, there is an opportunity over the medium and long term to become part of a movement to grow your own data, right? To make sure that if your state is actually collecting data on arts education, perhaps it's your district. It doesn't have to be only at the state level. It could be your local areas collecting data, that these data should be made available and you can help in that process. And that's why, together with the National Endowment for the Arts, we created the Arts Education Data Toolkit. And ultimately, what's very important about this toolkit is that it's to help non-experts, right? So this toolkit isn't going to confer some kind of graduate level degree in data analysis or statistics, but it will, however, allow non-experts to make plans and understand the steps of an arts education data project, to know where to look for help, and that's very, very important, but also to avoid pitfalls that happen in many cases, but that you can anticipate. So this toolkit happens in 5 parts, and I'm just very briefly going to describe what's in each part. The first part we call Getting Started. Ultimately, this is about making the case for doing this work and then making a plan so that it actually happens, right? So you do have to plan ahead if you're going to do this kind of work to expose the data and information that states or your localities might already be collecting. So many stakeholders won't know to start. This will help you understand, for example, who your partners should be in this kind of an effort, because it's very hard for any single stakeholder to do this entirely on their own. So you find your partners, then you can together assess the capacity to do the work. And it may be that you have to bring on other partners who can enhance your capacity. And again, this helps you anticipate challenges before they actually happen. So here's an example of one of the worksheets or tools that's provided in this section of the toolkit. I urge you not to read it, because that can be distracting, but I'll describe it to you, right? This is actually a worksheet that allows you to plan your project, excuse me, but also to create some kind of a self-assessment. So this allows you to establish together with your partners what your mission is, what goals you want this all to support, what questions you need to answer to, and very crucially, what data do you need to answer those questions, because those are the kinds of data you'll have to focus on in any kind of arts education data project. Finally, it very crucially focuses on the question of capacity. You do a self-assessment of your capacity to do this or what you need to bring on board to make it happen. The second section of this toolkit focuses on how to request the data. Now, ultimately, you want to get the right data, which means you have to be specific in asking for the data you need, or you'll probably get data that you don't need. So this is an art and a science that we try to explain here. And this section offers guidance on how to be very specific, not just in the way that you have to say, I want data on music and dance, but that you have to be specific about what those data should look like, in what form they should be. Do you want raw numbers? Do you want to have percentages? If you want percentages, you have to be very specific, just by way of example, about what kind of percentage you want, right? You can say, for example, as I said earlier, say 70% of all students, or let's say 70% of Asian students took visual art. Or you might get data that say 70% of students who took visual arts were Asian. And if that's not what you wanted, you'll have to crawl back and ask again. So this will help you avoid those kinds of problems. Here again is an example of a tool that this offers. And again, I urge you not to read this, because you could read it on your own time if you look at the actual toolkit, but I will describe what this is. We are actually presenting what we call the anatomy of a data request. So this is an actual data request that we've rendered anonymous. And what we've done is we've annotated it. So you can see what each part of that request is doing. Example, just how specific it pays to be. Part three we call processing the data. Now, this is about coping with the data you actually receive. How do you analyze it? How do you make it useful and prepare it for reporting? Now, the reality is that this is one of the often overlooked parts of a project, believe it or not. I found that in working with partners who want to undertake state education data efforts in their own states, they'll often say, well, we just want the state to give us the data. And then one response I often have is, be careful what you wish for. Because in many cases, you won't be able to get data that are, that would violate privacy concerns. So you have to be quite concerned about that. But in other cases, even when it's not violating a privacy concern, the data you get may be unwieldy. It may be in a form that's difficult to deal with. And so this section helps you understand ultimately what you need to have the capacity to analyze the data you get, and then understand whether you need to bring on partners so that you can actually get this job done. In many cases, people need to have a partner who can actually conduct the analysis. And the analysis isn't necessarily rocket science, but it's important to have someone who knows what they are doing. So here again is a tool that I urge you not to read, but I will describe briefly. It's an example of one of these tools. In this section, it's a sample record layout. So in other words, this would give you information about what the spreadsheet with data that you get is actually trying to tell you. So what is each variable in the data set? What is it doing? What form should it take? And what's the structure of this? This allows people who want to begin to analyze the data to understand what it is they're looking at and provide a much better plan for their analysis. So moving on to part 4, this section is very critical. This is reporting on the data. So ultimately, your end goal here, or at least one of your end goals, is to make the data useful. And to do that, you really have to put it in a form that a broad number of different populations can use and understand. So what this section does is it focuses on how stakeholders who have analyzed their data can actually present these data in relevant and compelling ways. It includes things like sample wireframes for data websites, or tips for ensuring that the data remain useful for a broad set of policymakers, educators, community leaders, or parents. It also gives examples of different kinds of technological platforms for presenting the data. So you saw 2 examples already. The one in Massachusetts was some kind of a table that you can manipulate to get the kinds of data you want in table form. And the Arizona example, which is more common, was actually data visualization. So you have charts and graphs in some, charts and maps in some sort of interactive dashboard, and you can select different filters and move down to the school and district level if you want more specificity. So it allows you kind of to navigate through those interactive visualizations to get the information you need. And those kinds of things are becoming much easier to do just in the last 5-10 years with the development of new cheap software that gets it done. So here's an example of one of those tools. I highly urge you not to try to read this right now because it's a little dense, but this is the beginning of what I described as one of the wireframes, which is like an architecture of a typical data website. It describes sort of how you can organize information on this website, how you can organize things like filters or different pathways for visitors to a website to get the information and the data they need. We offer a couple of sample wireframes, ideas of possible ways to structure and organize data in a very user-friendly way. Now, part 5, this is the final part of the toolkit, is about using the data. This really is the ultimate goal, because if no one is using your data, or if you have trouble using the data that you've just published it, then a lot of your work will have been in vain. So ultimately, this is about how do you use the data you've just gotten out into the public domain to foster impact. So this section offers tools on how to ask questions of the data you have. For example, are you looking for gaps? Are you looking for evidence of inequity by gender, by family income, by race, or by geography? What key messages are you going to extract from the data that you've just presented? It also presents templates for things like public communications, like email blasts or newsletters, where you share these kinds of important messages. It offers things like guides for public meetings that use the data to engage the public around important issues. And then it also offers social media guides, so you can understand how you can use social media to convey messages that bring out of the data that you think are especially important. This, again, is a tool. Don't read it, but it's a sample social media toolkit. And it shows sample messages and different social media kinds of outlets and strategies you can use to make those messages travel far and wide that you've actually extracted from your toolkit. So with that, that's really been a summary of what we have in the toolkit, but I wanted to pause Lakita for questions that you might have about any of this, and I'll try to answer them as best I can.
Thanks so much, Klaus. A question your way. You mentioned that, the data toolkit can help non-experts be involved in this work. So can you elaborate a little bit more on who some of those partners could be in this space?
Absolutely. So I think there are different kinds of partners. Of course, you need the people who understand arts education and who are able to, let's say, engage a large number or a good enough number of leaders and others in the state around this issue, because having that kind of engagement will help you make the case for actually doing the work, right? And so this could be a non-expert in data, but certainly someone who has a sense of what is important in arts education and what kinds of questions they need the data even to answer and why answers to those questions would be helpful. That's one kind, but other kinds of partners that you'd really want to have in here might be partners who give you a greater communications reach, partners who connect you to the educators who are in your community or your state. There are any number depending on the specific contours of your project. So these are the sort of the partners who are experts in education or who are advocates and are passionate about doing that work. There are, of course, other partners who are very important, and those would be partners who actually can get the more analytical portion of this work done. And so that varies by state. In some states, your state data leaders might be able to say, hey, just tell us what you want and we'll do the analysis for you. As long as you're super clear, right, and you don't create too much confusion in your actual request, that's possible. But it also might be that the state people are overwhelmed and don't have time. And that's why if you have a university partner or a vendor or someone who's done this kind of analysis before, it doesn't have to be very, very expensive. They might even help you be that mediator with the people or agencies that have the data you need. So you really want to make sure at the outset that you have those pieces in place or know how to put them into place. Otherwise, if you get a spreadsheet and you don't know what to do, then you have to scramble a little bit.
Fantastic. Just piggybacking on something you said about it doesn't have to be expensive. Is cost sort of a myth around the ability or capacity to do this work? There's actually a question in the chat now in terms of what are some things they should look for in terms of cost estimates for being able to do this?
Yeah, and so I'm going to be cautious about citing any specific costs, but let me just say that it depends, of course, on your state and what you want to do greatly, but this does not have to be a six-figure affair at all, right? And there are, in fact, certain data things that have a lot of value that you can do for a small fraction of that. I mean, so it depends what you want to do, but I think factors you want to consider are, do you want to create an interactive dashboard like you've seen in a number of these areas? If that's true, do you want to do it on your own? Work with a partner that has experience in doing this and might be able to create cost savings that way, because some partners have done this work on their own and have templates they can already use. If you do want to do it on your own, bear in mind that data visualization platforms like Microsoft Power BI, like Tableau, like many others, and we're not endorsing any of these, but just wanted to give you examples. There are quite a few of these out there, can do this at relatively low cost. I think where your most cost is going to arise will be actually in the analysis. Now, if the state can do that on its own and provide you with something, then that really removes one big cost barrier. But most often you'd have to work with somebody, perhaps a university, as I mentioned, perhaps a vendor, and they're going to require some money to do the kind of analysis that's required. Again, I've got to be cautious about how much that would cost, but it would be different if you just want state level data. If you just want data in your own community, that would probably be less expensive. If you want it for every community and school in the state, that might raise the cost somewhat, but again, as I say, that doesn't have to be a six-figure affair. It really doesn't. It depends very much on what your goals are. So sorry for the weasel words, but I think the overall idea is don't think that this is so expensive you can't do it.
Great. Another question coming up in the chat. Are all states' arts data publicly available, such as what you showed for Massachusetts?
Unfortunately, no. At present, we've counted 17 states that have these kinds of data on their enrollments. And of those 17 that are publicly available, I would say it's actually really 12 or 13 that are publicly available in a way that's broadly useful, because some states will give you enrollment numbers for every arts course separately. And then you realize, well, if I add these up, I'm going to be double counting students who took more than one arts course. So that can be a little bit of a problem. So I'd say it's about 12 or 13. More are coming online, right? Because there are people who are working on this. And so one of the challenges is to keep your eye out and look for things that are like arts education data efforts, arts education data initiative or project. You even do Google searches for your state and you may find things. But in most cases, unfortunately, still the data exists in deep and dark data sets in government agency websites, but are not actually available in analyzed form for the public.
Thanks, Klaus. Another question coming up. If I'm in a state that doesn't have an established data initiative, is it possible to just embark on that journey, or do I have to work in a state that has already established some of the groundwork?
Well, I mean, I'll defer a little bit to the Arts Endowment on that particular question as regards how they would make their own decisions. All I would say to that is that if you want to do the latter and embark on that journey to make arts education data available, I think it's a valuable thing to do. I think it's doable, depending, of course, on states. But as I said, you would have to leave some time, right? That would take, in the best scenario, months, and in the worst scenario, a year or more to do with the state. So just leave yourself the time. And if that's the project you want to do, again, I defer to the Arts Endowment about how that would work.
Fantastic. And, in the arts education division of the NEA, we support, emerging work. So Denise will go into more depth on the collective impact guidelines. But, we would welcome projects where you are embarking on this journey for something that's not already established with arts education data. Another question, Klaus, your way is in terms of how often do states update their data?
That's a very good question, and it's a very important time to ask it. It varies from state to state. As you look at the 50-state comparison we've created, even though we did that in 2019, the links should get you to websites where you can find the most recent data. In some states, like for example, Massachusetts, I think the latest data were 2019-20. It may have been 2018-2019, but they are trying to update regularly. Other states have done it maybe once, say in 2016-17, and might not do it again for a couple of years. My sense is that data that are a few years old are still pretty useful as a baseline. The reason why I said this is a timely question is that in this year, right, this pandemic year, you should probably realize that any data on arts enrollments that are offered for the 2019-2020 year, you'd have to question. You have to question what enrollment meant, right? Because students weren't physically in school. And what that means for a dance class or a theater class or even a visual arts class is pretty profound. And so the definition of enrollment will necessarily have changed pretty dramatically. And so to use those data for comparison this year might be a bit of a challenge, but I suspect that as states then get back on track, having these kinds of arts education initiatives in place will be very important, because then you can begin to see, aha, I see now that students are back in school, that we had a drop off, or we had an increase, or there was no change, or whatever that, whatever the outcome would be.
Great. There's another question in the chat in terms of best approaches to working with their state Department of Education. The person in the chat references that there's a lot of interest in the arts, department employees at the State Department of Education, but not as much interest in the education data managers in their particular Department of Education. Particularly citing issues around requiring a lot of time and technology to reconfigure the work. So are there any tips in this situation where there is some hesitance on the side of, key players involved to really get this work moving?
Yeah, and let me start by saying that's an excellent question, and I also want to start by saying I fully understand the challenges that data managers are facing right now. I mean, they're being asked for all kinds of data, and in during the pandemic, this all hands on deck kind of atmosphere that's happening right now means that many of them are even doing work that's not even related to education data. So it does mean that they're overstressed and overtaxed. So I would have a couple of answers to this. The first would be you may have to play the longer game, right? Which means that if it's hard to get on data managers' agendas right now, part of the thing is to make the case to leadership in a state agency or elsewhere who see why the data are important, are going to support other priorities that the agency has. And that means that it makes it easier for the data managers then to do something which is well aligned with the agency's priorities. That now in the pandemic, as a lot of education leaders are looking at what's happened and worried about how their students are doing and what kinds of trauma the students have faced and other kinds of challenges, arts may very well find a place in efforts to rebuild and efforts then to support students who have been through a very, very difficult time. And so that's, one example where you can say, well, one of the ways we can ensure that we're doing this is with data. A second thing is see if you can find some of those partners who can ease the way. If you have partners who have done this work before in other states, those partners actually might know some of the avenues and might also give the data managers a sense that it'll lift some of the weight off of their shoulders. Because if the expectation is that the data manager is going to be the one doing all of the analysis and all of the research on this, that could also make things more challenging. If they know they're working with a trusted and a true hand on this, it makes it easier for them to trust that they won't be going back and redoing data again and again and again until they figure out what the real request was.
Great. Another question your way, Klaus. This is really about, what communities exist to continue the conversation around this work, particularly around the steps in the toolkit. Are there communities of practice for this that you would recommend?
Communities of practice, I would say there are have done it, and you can consider that a community of practice. And then again, I would refer you to the arts education data, 50 state comparison that we did, demonstrating what states have currently done in this area. Those, if you go to the websites that are linked in that 50 state comparison, you will see people who have done this. You will see the organizations that were engaged and involved. We presented 3 case studies, as I mentioned, of California, Texas, and New Jersey, but there are others. And that is almost like a community of practice. Many of these have worked with some of the same partners, a lot of the same casts of characters have sometimes been involved in broader discussions about this, both at the endowment and elsewhere. And I think that can help you then understand, that you're not traveling a road that others haven't traveled before you. So that's what my suggestion would be. I would also add that education and Arts Education Partnership plan to put out a blog on arts education data that can also, in April, of course we don't have the exact date, that can help you understand sort of who these people are, what kinds of data they put out there, and how you might be able to engage with that.
This is great. And actually, I think this is a good segue, Klaus, since you mentioned communities of practice. Now turning to Denise, who manages our collective impact grants portfolio, and our collective impact grantees that we funded through the years, have really been involved in this work. So I will now turn it over to Denise to tell us more about the collective impact project type, and we'll answer your questions about collective impact as it relates to arts education data initiatives. Thanks, Denise.
Thank you, Lakita. Hello. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if this works. So it is my pleasure to tell you about some funding we have available for some data projects. So if you're wondering about funding for data projects, you're welcome to review the information on our website about our grants for arts projects funding opportunity. What you see on your screen right now is our homepage of our website, arts.gov. And I'm doing a screen share because I wanted to show you where on our website to find out more information about how we fund data initiatives within our collective impact project type. So, live demonstration. On our homepage, go about halfway down, find this box that says grants. Go to the grants section. You'll see our lovely newly designed website. And about halfway down this page, you'll see grants for arts projects, our principal grant program for nonprofits. Click on that. And for those of you who've been on our website over the years, again, in this new redesign to find information about arts education, once you're on the Grants for Arts Projects landing page, and you can read all about the deadlines, go back to the top, go to the left-hand side, and in this menu, click on Program Description. When you click on Program Description, you will go back in your own time, read all about this. At the very bottom, we ask that you select your project discipline. This is where you will select arts education. And then you keep scrolling. read our introductory language about our philosophy of funding in arts education within the Grants for Arts projects funding opportunity. And when you scroll down past the deadlines, you'll see the 3 project types that we fund in arts education. The first one many people are familiar with is the direct learning project type, instruction for kids. Scroll down more, we fund professional development. And now here, as you scroll this website, you got to scroll. You'll see collective impact grants. The second paragraph here, I'm going to come back to this at the end of my presentation. Applicants considering submission of a collective impact application are strongly encouraged to contact me, and it has my email address there. But when you click on see further details about this project type, this is the page where you'll find information about our collective impact project type. New on the website this year is our collective impact program logic model. And I'm going to enlarge this for you just for a second, because I think that there was a question earlier in the Q&A. So here you go. This is a logic model that shows the outcomes that we hope to achieve through funding collective impact. But this logic model is also can be used as kind of a roadmap for a typical progression of collective impact initiatives. So if you look over to the left, the first step is getting your collaborators together. Many folks are already in this effort to, and we give examples of the different partners that can be involved with collective impact. Those collaborators get together and they talk about, what do we need? And look, the very first bullet point, arts education data. And so this is where I just wanted to point out in our logic model where data can come into the picture in a collective impact initiative. Your collaborators talk about what do they need to know. Often the outcome of a collective impact project is something like, we want more access to arts education for kids in this community, some kind of defined universe. And so often arts education data is helping inform where is there arts education and where is there not arts education. Those collaborators talk about strategies as you move your way over to the middle of the logic model here. The collaborators talk about how collective impact can support systemic results. And this is where you might even form your own logic model. Maybe there's an arts education plan. Maybe there's already one for your city, your state, for your community. Implementing the plan, talking about how to monitor progress in the collective impact initiative, and you work your way over to the right, and often there are decisions made about processes and tools for some kind of data reporting system. You might be coming up with, again, a logic model that leads to outcomes in the community. This it's interesting that somebody is asking about this to put it in the collective impact context. I'm just going back into the resource page here. If you scroll down the collective impact model description, we talk about 5 principles, and applicants who are seeking funding in this project type, we ask that they embrace the following principles. You don't have to have these things all figured out when you apply. In fact, most people don't. But you'll see that we have data as our first principle. And I'm not going to read this website to you, but I do want to show you that this is where we're referencing the toolkit. The data toolkit not only gives a framework for, say, a statewide data initiative, but it can also serve as a roadmap for data initiatives within, say, a city, a school district, or another universe of students. So I wanted to make sure that folks realize it doesn't have to be a statewide effort to come in for collective impact funding. The rest of the principles in the collective impact project type model, partnerships, planning, shared measurement, programming. I'm scrolling down through this page because I want to get to the bottom where there are resources. There is a list of our collective impact grantees. If you are thinking about applying in collective impact, I think it's smart to look at that list because you can see a very brief project description for each of our grants in collective impact. And we have done extensive webinars about collective impact through the years. Here are some links to the recordings of the webinar, the series of webinars. Here's our link to our arts education data toolkit as well. And so I'm going to leave it there because I think since we have Klaus on the line here, there are probably more questions for him. But my job is to tell you that we have room in our funding in our collective impact project type to help support data initiatives. Your costs might be related to hiring people, data analysts. Your costs may be related to technology or designing like a data dashboard. And so those are the types of data expenses that could be rolled into a collective impact grant application. And then to wrap it up, contact me directly if you are thinking of applying for a collective impact grant. Brandenburg@arts.gov. Okay, that's it. I'm happy to take questions, Lakita, as well, if there are any about collective impact.
Yes, thanks, Denise. This was super helpful. A question your way. Can you provide examples of states or cities that are already embarking on collective impact initiatives using arts education data?
I'm going to share my screen. I'll tell you where you find that answer. Right here. Check out this link on our website. Okay, I actually just redid this list to break it down into national collective impact initiatives, statewide collective impact initiatives, regional and local. And so you can read about some of the statewide initiatives that we're already funding. And I mean, yes to all of it, right? Everyone's using data in a certain way within these statewide initiatives. Look to California, look to New Jersey, but yes, contact me and we can chat.
Great. Another question your way, Denise. Can you apply for a collective impact grant through arts education if you're pursuing funding for another arts project with the NEA?
Sadly, no, you can't. We generally have a one application per calendar year rule. There are a few exceptions to that. And I can share my screen here again, just so you can read all about that. We have eligibility rules about that and application limits. And so you can read about the application limits, but generally speaking, it is only one application per calendar year. Let me show you where you can find that information. In Grants for Arts Projects, you can find that information down this left-hand side and under application review, application calendar, but contact me if you have more questions about that.
This is great. Thanks so much, Denise. Speaking of collective impact and the importance of partners, I think it's a fun moment now to look at the results of our poll. For those attending live, we wanted to get a sense of who was in the room. So on your screen, you'll see the polling results. And those options were arts educator, education data manager, funder, government, higher ed, nonprofit, strong showing there, policymaker, researcher, pre-K-12 educator, state arts agency. And we also included students, though there's no data point for that, but it's really important to make sure students are represented in this space. I now would like to look at the chat. There's still so much energy in the chat. There is one question. We have time for one more as we're coming up on our time. And Klaus, I think I'm going to throw this question your way. Can you talk a little bit more about how arts education data or this information in the toolkit particularly can help the field measure the impact of the pandemic on arts education?
Of course. And of course, there are a number of ways in which it could. I would say, first of all, that it would focus mostly on questions of access and participation. So ultimately, because that's the kind of data that most communities and states have, right? So what you would be able to do, even in states that haven't reported on these data, presumably many of them, most of them, as we've shown, have collected the data. So you'd want to look at what happened before the pandemic, and if possible, get a run of data up to 2018, 2019, and then establish some kind of a baseline. Was there a trend, for example? Was there increasing access, or was there greater participation? And by the way, access can be measured in several ways. Sometimes it's, if somebody took a class in a school, that's generally good evidence the fact that that school offers it. If nobody took a class in that school for years, that's generally pretty good evidence that the school didn't offer that class. So anyway, that's why you get access. Look at it, what it was up to the pandemic, and then make a plan to look at what happened to access this academic year, next academic year, the following year. Bear in mind, as I noted before, that things that happened even this academic year and certainly last academic year, they might be all over the map depending on how states chose to define, participation. Because we all know that it was very, very difficult to do in a virtual environment where states hadn't had that experience in the past. So those years might not be super reliable in terms of the data they provide, but other years would be. And so again, the idea is establish what those indicators are. See if you can get trend before the pandemic struck, and then plan for more data afterwards. And it's going to take time, right? You're not going to know what happened next academic year until after next academic year happened. So this means that you have to take a somewhat longer view as you do this kind of work.
Wonderful. I'm now going to share information on how to contact us, for questions regarding the Arts Education Data Toolkit. You can send questions to me, Lakita Edwards, and my email is edwardsl@arts.gov. And you can also send questions to Klaus. Happy to help you. And for questions around the collective impact project type, as Denise said several times, if you're considering applying to the NEA for a collective impact project, give her a call, send her an email. And we highly encourage you to do that before you submit the proposal. So let's continue the conversation. Please reach out to us. We want to help you. And, there's a lot of energy for this work, and we're really excited to help the field in this way. And so I want to thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to helping you, and please take care.